Good afternoon, Lake Stevens Schools, and welcome to the Swimming in Tech Hangout for Monday, May 4th. Let's get right to it with segment 1, the Google Apps Freestyle. I'll hand it off to Phil Biggs, and he'll be talking about using the research tool in Google Docs.
Thanks, Chad. This first Monday in May, we'll start right off with one of the built-in tools in Google Docs that a lot of people don't know about, but it's probably one of the most useful that's out there. So let me just share my screen real quick here, and we'll get started. All right, so right within Google Docs, you can have your students be doing research on any topic that they're writing about. And they really honestly don't even have to leave that document to get 90% of what they're going to need, including images, videos, everything else that you might want. So let's show you how that works. If we go to the Tools menu and we pull down to Research, we'll see, as with all Google tools, a little pane on the side of the screen over here. And when you first open the research tool, a lot of times it will pop up and you'll have all of these different choices. We're just going to click on everything, and let's do a search on, say we're on a World War II unit, we're doing Battle of the Bulge. So let's just type in that, because that's my topic that I'm supposed to research. So if we type that in, you'll see the little spinning wheel over here on the left, or the right hand side of the search box, and voila, underneath we get all of the web results for this particular topic on this one. And you can see that we can scroll down through. We've got some images here coming up right away. And as we scroll down through the list, there's quite a few really good sites that we could use to research our topic on this one. We could go to Wikipedia if we wanted to. There's Battle of the Bulge in history.com. That might be a good one. This is a good one. The Army site, that would probably be fairly accurate, wouldn't you think? So let's just click on one of these and see what happens. So if we click on it, it will pop us to the website for that particular, for that topic. And we can begin to do some reading on this one. And there's quite a few things. And look at this one. There's even newsreel footage, thinking Common Core type things where we need to be able to go to video and get information, slideshows. So there's a lot of information on this page that's just right there with, I never had to leave my document that I was working on. So that sounds great. And let's just say that after we had read a while, we got some information, and I'm just going to paste in a sentence that I already typed. So, and let's say that we got this information from this particular source. Now, as one of the things we want to do is we want to teach students to cite where they got their information, give their papers that credibility that they need. As you'll notice is every time that I roll across any one of the sources on the listing in the research pane, I have a place where I can cite that resource. So if I click on cite, you'll see that it puts a little 1 superscript, looks like a footnote, doesn't it? And you say, well, that's cute, but where is the actual citation? But if you scroll down to the bottom, you can see that what Google did for us using the research tool was it put the footnote in to the document for the student, and that will follow the page just like any good footnote would as the student goes down through their document. And we could do the same thing for pictures. So, but let's just take another look up here before we do that, because you'll notice that we can look for images. Google Scholar, which does a search through all of the scholarly journals and magazines out there. So for high school students, this may be what you want them doing to make sure that they're on probably the most or the highest level of information they could find. You can look for quotes, maybe get a little quote from Patton on this one. That would be an interesting one. Oh, nothing for that one. We can look at dictionary entries, tables. So in this particular case, here's a table of all of the battle, the bulge kinds of things. And if we just grab one of these and drag it over to our document, we can grab a link to it. Or we could, go to the page, and you can see there's the table. We could copy and paste that into our document. The other thing we can do, though, is that good image says a lot too. So if we go to images, we can find some great images. Now in this case, here's a good map. And if you're trying to understand a battle, a map can't be beat. So all I had to do is drag that map over. I can resize that, but you'll notice that it left the little number 2 as a citation. And if we scroll down, there's our reference on that particular image on that one. So a research tool has a lot of, it's a very fast way for students to stay right inside their document. The other thing that you'll find in the research tool is you're not just going to get a whole bunch of web pages. You're going to get ones that are much more scholarly, much more, the reliability factor will be a lot higher as you do that. One last thing on this one, if you notice that there's a little drop down. You know, anytime we see an arrow on Google, that means there's more information. There's a couple of things that you can do is if the student is doing this and wants to be able to distribute this. So one of the things that you can do is come down here and find common sense or licensed that are free to use, and you can use those. Now, so this particular map may not be something that I could freely distribute to other people, but all of these are. So instead of using that map, I might just use this one, which I know is free to distribute and use at any level that I want to. And again, you'll notice that it automatically linked that for me. So that's a great thing. You can also, depending on, if this is more for the high school and college level, but depending on what style that you use for footnotes, you have MLA, APA, and Chicago style footnotes. And if you, as you change those, your footnotes are going to change in that different formatting. So it's real easy for students to understand how to footnote correctly on that. So you can see that as I scroll down through, there's lots of images, and remember, all of these are totally free to use on that one as you go through. So it's a great tool that you can use for lots of different things. Fast, quick, citations are accurate, and you get kids, even in 3rd and 4th grade, you can get your students understanding that they need to cite where they got work and that give other people a credit where credit is due.
So slick, Phil, and the fact that it's embedded right in Google Docs is just wonderful. And yeah, I can vouch for this. It's successful in 4th grade. Kids love that it's right there, and just learning how to do the citations, as you noted. Fantastic.
And it just gets better, this research tool. It just gets better all the time, and much more reliable for students to work on. So.
All right, well, let me give you a few moments to switch over to your next tab as we dive into segment 2. And we're going to be recording audio with Soundtrap, and I'll say that this gets my stamp of approval since it is based out of Stockholm. Being a Swede, I'm very pleased to see that. Great new program, Phil, so take it away with Soundtrap.
All right, Chad. This is the whole idea of being able to create your own sound files, record your audio, your own little podcasts, even some music and sound effects along with it, is becoming really important with the whole Common Core standards and with the Smarter Balance, because we suddenly understand that there's more to life than just text on a page. And with that, Sarah Danielson and Tammy Enders have taught a great workshop after school on how to create your own audio and video files, which, as we all know, if you can do your own, it's much easier to understand somebody else's as they go through there. One of the tools that we all discovered as they were doing that is this website and an app called Soundtrap. And again, as Chad said, it's out of Sweden, that's the cool thing in the internet. It doesn't matter where you live. So I am actually on the soundtrap.com website, and you'll notice on the URL up here, it's just pretty simple, soundtrap.com. Now, here's I wanted to make sure that we started with this page because this is what we're always looking for if we're going to use this for students. We want to be able to sign up and use their Google account to get signed up because really can't track anything on them at that particular point in time. And it really doesn't matter if they do because, one, they don't really know who that person is. It's just a number. They can't send any email, no spam, no nothing like that. So anytime you're looking for a tool to use with students, look for the sign up with Google. So I'm going to click that. And in this particular case, I've already signed up. If it was you or your students, you're going to have to give the permissions one time on that one, or allow them to probably access your email address and your Google Drive. If you're on a Chromebook, you could save there. And you'll see as I've logged in, I've already added my picture and a few things like that. So you can get it as personal as you want. Of course, with students, we would probably say no pictures, but they could go ahead and put their first name in and some things like that. So, and this is my dashboard, and all of the things that I've worked on or saved are here. Plus, I'll throw in some demos so you can get kind of inspired of what you could do. We're going to go ahead and come back up here, and we're going to enter the studio. And once we get into the online studio, it is a pretty simple process to use. All you're going to do is add tracks into the, and then it's going to record across here on the timeline. Now, let's click on that to add a track. It's really that simple. Now, most of the time, what we're talking about when we're recording students, and I think what Chad has done mostly, is just to use the computer mic as you record. So let's start with that one. And I'll click use the computer mic. I'll click it again. And what that does is that just sets things up. Now, in my particular case, the bad thing about this is I've already used this many times. So it's not asking me the question because Chrome will remember that it's okay. The very first time you ever use on any computer, so every time somebody goes onto a Chromebook and uses it for the first time to record sound, it will ask you twice whether it's okay for that program to use your microphone. And generally there'll be something up in the middle of the screen, and a lot of times right up here under the gray bar, you'll get some kind of alert. And a lot of times it's in yellow, and it will say, one more time, is it really okay to allow this program to use your microphone? You can imagine that's a security risk. So they're very careful about whether or not you can do that. So what happened is we just added a track on here, and we get some recording controls, actually quite a few. Equalizer, we have a whole bunch of things that we can do on that one. Honestly, the only thing I ever really do is with the volume. So if you're not recording loud enough, just turn your volume up or down to catch that. You can check your tone if you want to be in a great big room, set your reverb up, otherwise leave it where it is. And when you're ready to record, and you've got everything, there's a couple things. You have to first click on here, and I get a warning that on my computer, it does not do this. I don't think it's even implemented yet on that one. But I have to click here, and that kind of opens up my microphone. And then down here on the bottom, you'll see the red record button. Anytime you see the red circle and a button, that's record. So I'm going to go ahead and record something so you can get an idea what that looks like. So let's pretend we're doing the Sunnycrest morning news. So we get a little get ready sign and go. Good morning, Sunnycrest Elementary. It's Monday, May 4th, and this is the news for the day. Now, that's good, and we can play that back. Well, I don't know that it's good. We'll just say that is on this one. So if I play it back, oh, see what I forgot to do? I forgot to rewind it. So I'm going to click the rewind button. Now I'll play it back. Good morning, Sunnycrest Elementary. It's Monday, May 4th, and this is the news. And it's for some reason my microphone isn't super loud right now, but that works. Okay, so that's good. I'm done with that particular track. Now the next thing I can do is I can continue to add tracks. So let's say that someone else wanted to record, we could add another track with a computer microphone. We can actually combine these together, so you don't have to do it at the same time. Somebody could just say, okay, I'm going to leave 10 seconds, and then the next person's going to come along behind. And so let's go ahead and record track 2 on this one. And you notice that that one is set to record, and that's how you know which track you're going to be on, is by whichever record button is lit up. So here we go. Let's go. The lunch menu for today is hot dogs, and hot dogs. And now, so what I did was it started, gave me a little bit of the track before, and then I could just cut in and do my own. So we go back to the beginning, and I think you can hear this. So you can see that it picked up right where the other one left off. I can monitor what I'm doing as I go along. This is a pretty full-fledged, full-featured audio recording system. For just voice, if that's all you want to do, with multiple tracks as you go through. So that's good, but the other thing that you can do, if you notice, if you add tracks, we can import music. So if you have a nice little MP3 file you want to use as an intro to your newscast or something, you could click there, import that file, and you go to freeplaymusic.org or one of the many free sites where you can grab those. That's good. You could, if you have someone has an electric guitar, electric keyboard, you could plug a microphone into it and sing along if you want to. And it also has instruments. You can have your own little, so if you want a little, if you're doing the comedy show and you need the snare drum and the cymbal, you've got that. Or you can play your own music on a keyboard. And you can see here that you could really quickly play that. You have sound effects, all sorts of things on that one. Now, here's the ultimate challenge for kids that would be great fun, is they could build a little loop on this thing, come up with a rap song that would do something else, and record their own little rap group singing the song that they, or music that they came up with, original music. And it could be anything. It could be math, it could be language arts, it could be social studies, science, and you could do all of it right within Soundtrap. So that's the challenge of the day. What do you think, Chad?
And I love it, Phil. I was thinking about Heidi Finley's project and how they already have that keyboard mapped to letters. Well, what's the name? I'm forgetting the name.
With the Arduino boards, yeah.
And
so yes, this could be, in this case, it could be Scratch could be interacting perhaps with this, but for sure the Arduino board could. And Makey board, that's what it is. That
yeah.
And you could map those keys in, and yeah. So you could actually use your instrument and then record your voice as you're playing the instrument. It would be pretty cool, huh?
It's just too bad that I've learned about this now. I should be learning about this in the summers because I don't have any time to waste right now.
Exactly. Well, the good thing, Chad, this is recorded. So remember, people can always come back.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Phil. We'll go to our last segment of the day, which is the long course, talking about Moodle forums. And I'll be leading this one. I'm just going to jump over to my Moodle course, the Brant class course. And the forum is an activity. Think of it as a discussion board right in your Moodle course. And just like with most activities in Moodle, there are tons of different options to help you customize it for your class so it works the way you want it to work. So I've turned editing on already, and I'm going to add an activity the forum activity. You just, of course, need to give it a name and a description. This is what students will see when they click into the forum, so you'll likely want to type something such as click the button below to add a new discussion topic, or reply to my question by clicking the apply button. And you'll see all that once I submit all these options. So this description is for your students taking your course. Now, the forum type. This is important. This is where you can customize this for your own needs. There are 5 forum types, as you can see here. Briefly go through them. A single, simple discussion. This is best used if you just have one question that you want all students to reply just to that question, and you don't want the discussion to go off topic, or you don't want the students to create their own discussion questions. You just want to focus on one topic. That would be the best one to use. Now, the default, I'm going to jump down to the bottom of this list. This is the default standard forum for general use. An open forum. So you, as the teacher of your Moodle course, the instructor, can add as many questions as you like within this forum. Students can reply to your questions as many times as they like, and then students can reply to other students. But in addition, students can also add their own questions and start their own threads. So this is kind of a grab all or a free-for-all where everyone can add their own strings or reply to strings, and so this might be a good option for something you'll use for a whole unit, where you'll have a bunch of questions throughout the unit. Or I've used it for books, for book talk discussion with book clubs, and have a standard forum throughout the book, and as we read more chapters, putting more questions up there that students can respond to, and letting students put their own questions and begin their own threads as well. Now, if you want to modify this one a little bit, the next option here, each person posts one discussion. This is like the standard forum, the default option, except each student can post only one new discussion topic. That means only one new thread. So I can see an educator using this if you want each student to come up with their own thought and start one thread, but you don't want students to just start posting 13, 15 different threads. Maybe it's a part of their grade or expectation for them to post one thread, but then you don't want it to get out of hand. That would be a good option there. The Q&A forum, I've not used this before, but this is, if you watched our Actively Learn hangout last week, this is kind of how Actively Learn works. As students answer questions in Actively Learn, the student cannot see other student responses until they actually submit their answer. So I like that option there. And this standard forum displayed in a blog-like format, that's just a different display than the default, the standard forum. So I'll just leave it at the default standard forum here. Other options you'll be used to in Moodle, students can actually include attachments if you want to allow it. Subscription to the forums. Subscription just means that you will get an email trigger every time someone responds to that forum or adds something to the forum. So you have a couple choices where you can force everyone to subscribe and get those emails, or you can just disable that subscription so that people aren't bothered with the emails. It just depends on what your preference is. And also, once students are subscribed, they can change their own individual subscription options, and I'll show you that a little later on the next few pages. You can also choose to block students if they're getting a little out of hand. You can set a post threshold for how many posts that you'll accept before you just put the reins on Johnny. Grading. You can add grades to the gradebook by turning on ratings for each of the students' contributions. So you, as an educator, if you want to assess the students' contributions to the discussion for a participation grade, you can change the scale, and you can have Moodle rate or average the ratings, sum the ratings, however you want Moodle to calculate it. You can change those options, and then you can change your scale here. And you, as the educator, can rate them, or you can actually turn it on so other students can rate other students. So those are the main options for the forum. I'll get back to my course, and then I'm actually going to slide over to a student view now, to Jerry, and show you what it will look like from the student's view once you've set a few up. So here is the default standard forum example. So if a student clicks on a standard forum, student will see the various discussion threads that have already been started. So you can see I've put a question up here that has one reply, and then I have another student, a test student here, who has put up their own thread. Now if my student Jerry here, geriatric, wants to start their own separate thread, they just click this add a new discussion topic, and they can start their own discussion thread. In fact, as a teacher, when you set up your forum for the first time, this is the screen you'll see, but there will be no discussion threads here, and you'll have to add a new discussion topic here. And this is what you'll see: a subject, which is just maybe a short title for that topic, and then the message. This is the message that you want the students to respond to. Here, when you start a new thread, you get the option to subscribe or not subscribe. I don't want to be notified, or I do want to be notified. You can add attachments if you like, and then as soon as you post it, here it goes. Now you've got these all these discussion threads. When you would like to respond or reply to a discussion thread, you've just got to click on the title here. I'll have Jerry respond to the teacher's discussion. So now you'll have the prompt right here, and if I, as Jerry, want to respond to my teacher, I just simply click reply. And a very deep response there from Jerry. Post that to the forum just quickly so you can see once something has been once you've replied to a parent thread, all of the replies will be indented or nested, as they call it, so you can see that these are all replies to that parent there. You can see also other students' replies, and if I want to reply to Jenna, I just click the reply in her box as opposed to the teacher's, and then my response would be nested a little bit, indented to the right of Jenna's. So that is the general forum. The Q&A forum, as I was saying, if I'll have Jerry click on this and respond to this discussion question. What I like about the Q&A here is that Jerry cannot see other students' responses until he responds to the question himself. So this is really showing what Jerry knows from his own head first. Who do I think deserves to own Shiloh? Marty. Perfect. So now once I post this to the forum, click continue. Jerry still can't see these because I just added them, but whereas the editing time has passed for these other students in a few minutes, Jerry would then be able to see their posts as well. One last example, the simple discussion example. Again, if Jerry were to click on here, you'll see there is no button to add a new discussion topic here because this is a single simple discussion, meaning the teacher of the course gets the opportunity to ask the question and start the thread. Students cannot start their own threads. Their only option here is to just reply. This is so that you can stay focused on one single question within this forum. So as you can see, this one forum activity, you can use it for a lot of different purposes. Just choose the purpose wisely, whether you want it to be a general and have everyone add their own strings, or if you just want students to respond just to your post. Figure out how you want to use the forum before you set it up. And really, if you set it up one way and you decide you want to change it later, you can just go back and edit the settings, and you can change the forum type. If you think, you know what, I don't want students to add their own posts yet, I just want to have each person post just one and stop it there, or go back to a single simple discussion. You can change it after the fact. It won't take away any of the existing posts, but it will change it from this point forward as soon as you update it.
You know, Chad, this is a perfect example of a situation where I've seen people just go through contortions trying to do something that Moodle does so simply. This is what Moodle's all about, that whole social networking, bringing kids together. And it was just so, you just did that so quickly and really so easily after you do one or two, that I just can't emphasize to teachers enough how important Moodle becomes when you want to connect kids together without tons of work. And especially if you're holding kids accountable and saying they have to do it, because you can create yourself a lot of work. And in that particular instance, it's really easy to go through, check off kids, give them quick grades if you want to. Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
And embedded right there in Moodle, right next door to all your other resources.
Yeah, and you know, Chad,
you don't have to use an external, you know, no external logins, no external programs. It's just right in there.
The other thing that you can do in your posting too, because it's just the standard Moodle text box that comes up, there's no reason why you can't insert a video in there. Say, watch the video, respond. You could put images, maps, you know, and the kids could post their own in there too. So you could say, in your response, I want you to add in an image. Moodle even lets them draw, so you could say draw a chart. It's just so many things that they can do, and I just see people work so hard to try to do it, and you don't have to.
Yeah. Great point. I mean, anytime you've got a text editor in Moodle, you have so many powerful tools right there at your fingertips.
Yeah, equation editors, video recorder, audio recorder, and again, the kids don't always have to respond in text if you don't want to. We were looking to Soundtrap, but you know what? The forum question, that's a great way to get them to say, hey, talk to your computer, get it in there. You know, whatever's easiest on that one.
For sure.
In fact, you could throw a math problem in as a forum too and say, who can come up with a great way to solve this problem? So, all right, looks like we're out of time, Chad.
All right, well, next meet is a week from today, Monday, May 11th. We hope to see you back same time, Monday afternoon.
And special guest will be Rebecca Wilson, is going to talk to us about Khan Academy, and she is awesome with that particular application. So we're looking forward to that.
That's right. Have a great week.
All right. See you.